Within the Atlantic Future Project, we conducted 20 interviews with policymakers, opinion shapers and stakeholders here in Italy. Initially, fundamental skepticism emerged towards the concept of the Atlantic space as comprising North and South America, Africa and Europe. This was coupled with a certain pessimism with regards to the prospects for more cooperation across these four continents. Generally, this was deemed due to the lack of global vision, of a shared vision, and the existence of too many strategic obstacles. That said, after this initial hesitation, the interviewees tended to adopt a very pragmatic approach towards the notion of interregional cooperation, viewing the latter as a tool for Italy to remain relevant in the international checkerboard. What is perhaps interesting is the interviewees had a certain, let's call it, humility with which they recognized quite poignantly the fragility of Italy's global positioning. And thus, this led them to recognize that cooperation was both inevitable and instrumental to Italy's both economic and geopolitical needs. With regards to their views on the EU, these were all in all significantly more optimistic, whilst recognizing that the EU is clearly at a crossroads, and a very serious one at that. They nevertheless adhered quite unanimously to a philosophy of united we stand, divided we fall, a philosophy dictated by not ideology but necessity. That said, this led them to judge the future of the EU and the ability of member states to overcome obstacles towards cooperation relatively leniently. Concretely, Italy's view on the opportunities for more cooperation in the wider Atlantic generally converged towards the identification of the North Atlantic Partnership as both a key factor and a prerequisite for more broader cooperation in the region. Specifically identified initiatives of relevance included, first and foremost, the TTIP and the advancement of negotiations, as well as the need to boost investment flows in order to kickstart the EU's economic recovery. As for security, what was overwhelmingly identified as the key priority was the issue of fragile and failed states, and in particular the need to jointly elaborate an effective strategy for crisis management. Finally, the transformation of the energy sector and the human rights issues were identified as highly relevant in the Atlantic to shape the existence of an Atlantic space. And in both these sectors, the need for more normative leadership was identified. And then again, because of this, more cooperation between the US and the EU was deemed as necessary in order to maintain global leadership over what would be the norms and the values that would then go to shape global equilibrium and international relations in the decades to come.
Chiara Rosselli, Project Manager of the Institute of International Affairs. Thank you very much.